Well, morning of day 4. Yeah, today I'm going to catch a bus, and I don't feel guilty about that. I'm on holiday for start, but yeah, there's a couple of huge peaks between here and destination, and for the sake of $10 Australian, I thought, you know what, take the bus. Could I climb those hills? Yeah, probably. Would I enjoy it? Probably not. And it's mentioned often that yeah, these are ball breakers. So I'll catch the bus. It leaves at 10:10. I don't know how long it'll take me to where I'm going. It's just, all I want to do is get over the hills, and after that I'll get back in the saddle. That's it, Mangyeon. Well, it was pretty seamless. It took less than an hour to get here. I've saved myself 80 kilometres of riding, and I don't feel bad about that. I don't think I'll be able to check into my hotel this early in the day. It's well before noon, so I'll find a cafe and sit down and make myself comfortable for a little while, but that's not the only bus trip I'll take on this journey. I've still got to cross the country to go from Busan to the other side, because I'm going to go and tour one of their islands here, so that's not the only bus trip I'll take, but certainly well worth it. I think I've messed up. I think I got off at the wrong place. I'm not where I thought I was going to be. I've missed the 2 hills. I'm clear of those. But yeah, there's 2 places on the map that have very similar names, and I don't know whether I got off at the wrong place or I bought a ticket for the wrong place. Anyway, I've got a 27-kilometre ride in front of me. Well, this looks a bit dodgy. I'm definitely on the right track. I've got to cross that bridge according to the map. Geez, you wouldn't want to be on a recumbent.
Let me have you pull me
Well, morning of day 5, a much more comfortable night last night. I think by nature, cycle tourists are frugal, try and save money where they can, but by spending an extra 20 bucks, the standard of accommodation just magnifies tenfold. So I'm happy with my purchase from last night, and I'll probably continue to go down that path because I'm sure and I've said this before, I'm sure my children would want me to be comfortable, and after all, I'm spending their inheritance. So yeah, day 5, I've got about a 72-kilometre day ahead of me. Not expecting anything out of the ordinary. I guess we'll know more later. A cooler start to the morning today. Bit of fog, but I checked the forecast, no sign of rain for the next 48 hours. I think in the overall scheme of things, I'm here. And that's the destination. And then I'm going to catch a bus over to this side of the country to go to their holiday island, Busan. It's down here somewhere. It's about a 4.5 hour ferry ride, but that'll be in a few days' time. Got a bit of a climb, 350 metres, and I think there's a couple like this. Going inland now, going away from the river. There is so much infrastructure aimed at or dedicated to the cycling fraternity. I'm a little gobsmacked. Sculptures and public art, all sorts of stuff. There's another example. This is obviously part of a weir, but if you turn that sideways, yeah, in the shape of a bike. There's another certification centre just up here, so I'll get another stamp. Hey boys. All that high density housing over there, that's the finish line for today. So I can start to smell victory. Having said that, I've already covered 75 kilometres, so I must have taken some deviations or something, not sure, it doesn't matter. So yeah, should be in a hotel within 30 minutes. Well, back in the big smoke again. I can't say that I've missed it. Today's been good, all rural farmland and stuff. By the time I pull up, I would have done 90k, so I'm using 2 different apps. One is a GPX file, and the other one is Maps.me. And clearly there's a difference between the two, one's more accurate than the other. So tomorrow, when I'm doing the sums, I might have to come up with a number and then add 10%, I think. Because yeah, the last 20 kilometres has been a bit of a dick drag. Another cool morning with fog. There is a small chance of rain. I don't feel threatened by it. I've got wet weather gear with me if I need to throw that on. I would have expected rain. You've got to expect rain at some stage on every trip. It should be an easier day today, I'm hoping. Yesterday was bigger than expected because, as I said before, I'm using 2 apps to navigate, and obviously there's a variation between the two. But it should be an easier day. I should pull up quite early in the afternoon. Maybe a 60k day today, and that's okay. That's what I sort of was working on anyway, 60k's a day. Once again, as I said before, I'm on holidays. You lose so much time waiting at these red lights. I just can't understand why they're not tripped by the amount of vehicles instead of on a timer. It's just makes little sense to me. And I mean, every 200 metres there's a junction, so every 200 metres you just lose more time. The circuit, the route itself is great, but trying to enter and leave the towns for accommodation. That's the painful part of this process. I think it's Gumi, G-U-M-I, don't ask me how to pronounce it, doesn't really matter. But I'm not sure whether this is, I'll call it an industrial town or not, but gee, some of the smoke belching out of some of these chimneys, and the air quality is pretty crappy. It's a Saturday today. Gives the people the opportunity to go and play, I guess. Wouldn't surprise me if the traffic on the bike path increases as well over the next 24 to 48 hours. People enjoying the last of the sunshine before winter kicks in. Blowing the dirt off their footwear. I think the South Koreans are big fans of baseball. Seems to be a lot of television stations dedicated to the sport. I'm not sure how they rank on the world stage, but as long as they're having fun, that's all that matters. Pulled over to get something to eat because a man's got to eat, and it's not the sort of place I would ordinarily go to for lunch, but yeah, I'm not sorry I have. One thing I have noticed over the last couple of days, I'm travelling south, let's call it, towards the equator, and because of that the temperatures have increased a little bit during the day, not much. But yeah, you can certainly feel the difference. So I guess travelling the direction I have, from the north towards the south, was probably, in hindsight, the best option. I mean, I'll go and circle this holiday island. It's about 240 kilometres around or something. Hey boys, how you going? It's about 240 kilometres around the circumference of the island, and that'll be good temperatures, I think, for doing that. And then I'll bus it back up to towards Seoul. Well, I'm in a bit of a pickle here. The signage is telling me to go right, but I'm looking for a place to stay. I've only covered 52 kilometres. I mean, it's only early, it's just past noon, but my fear is if I avoid this town, if I don't stop here, I may struggle to find accommodation at the next town or the town after that, because it's not real clear on the maps. So I might go down here, find a coffee shop, pull up, and just maybe have a look at the maps and see if I can come up with a strategy. I don't want to bypass this town if it means I'm going to end up sleeping out in the bush tonight. You know what it's like, you pass that last fuel station thinking, yeah, I should be right, and then all you do is suffer stress from that point on. So I'll find a coffee shop and I'll take it from there. No, I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to pull up here. There's a hotel about 3 kilometres away. I'll stop here. I think the other towns down the road, they could be possibly university towns, if that makes any sense. There's nothing obvious on the maps that I looked at, so I'll cut my losses and I'll pull up here. The key? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. See, look, no under 19s, and this here would be their hourly rates. He was going to charge me 60,000, which is the equivalent of about 66 Australian dollars, and I said, oh come on man, what are you expecting, a busy night? Anyway, he's agreed on 50. This must be a love hotel. Right, I'm about to leave for the day. These places aren't dodgy. I mean, it's not a brothel. And what they try and do is they try and be very discreet. They try and avoid all contact, if that's what you want to do. I mean, you know, you deposit your key there. There's nobody at the front counter. Or if there is, you've probably got to try and contact them somehow. You can do self-check-in. So yeah, they try and make it as discreet as possible for those people who want to be discreet. And I've done a bit of business last night, because when I first used the elevator earlier today, there was, I don't know, 4 or 5 keys there. But when I checked in yesterday, it was the young bloke behind the counter, and they've got a different rate for the weekends. On the weekends, the rate goes up. Obviously, try and make a bit more money, I get it. But anyway, he said, I asked using Google Translate, you know, how much for the room, and he said 60,000. It's about 66 Australian dollars. And I thought, oh, and I said, can we go and have a look at the room? And we did that, and I looked at the room, there was nothing special. So I translated to him, mate, 60 is a big number. How about we make it 50 and you've got a deal? And he said, nah, on the weekends the rate goes up, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, he could sense my reluctance, and it's not the only hotel in town. So in the end he said, yeah, all right, 50. Anyway, today, not a big day again. Probably about 60 k's, I think. I don't want to find myself in no man's land, so we'll get underway. Beautiful clear sky today, and the temperatures are quite mild. And today there could be a couple of tricky bits, a couple of steep parts that I can't avoid, and a couple that I can, and I will. Alright, I've picked up the trail again now. That was a 7-kilometre ride just to sort of get out of town. You know, probably not lost half an hour, but it's taken half an hour to get here. So yeah, these towns can be quite big, and you lose a bit of time getting in and sort of getting out. Doesn't matter, I'm on the trail now. Still heavy smog. Damn. I mean, there's some high density housing through there that you wouldn't be able to see because of the smog. Anyway, that's an issue for them. So yeah, about 60k day. I'll stop somewhere for lunch. Hope to...
left, then you'll arrive.
Yeah, okay, thanks. Hope to get some drone footage along the way as well. Hey. G'day, mate. Beautiful. Look at that. Stunning. Some stunning colours. Alright, I'm at a bit of a crossroad here. The signage is telling me to veer around to the right, but there's a note on the GPX file that I'm following, and it says there's some really shitty, nasty, steep climbs in amongst that section. If you want to avoid it, then yeah, pretty much, you know, follow the red line on the GPX route. That must just follow the roads, I guess. Yeah, I'm not out to challenge myself. I mean, it's going to be difficult times as it is without looking for trouble. So I don't know how big the detour is, but I'll follow the GPX file, I think. Yeah, a bit hard navigating through this stretch. I don't want to piss the local motorists off. I'm supposed to be heading in that direction, but I want to avoid that. It's not an expressway, but it's a main road. I'll have to backtrack, I think. Oh, this could be an option here, maybe. Yeah, I'm going in the right direction at least. One thing I have noticed is often you'll see heavy commercial vehicles just parked up on the side of the road, sometimes very busy roads. And I think what it is drivers just park the truck there, go home in this high density housing, and then either, I don't know, you either get dropped off by the missus the following morning or swap the car out for the truck and leave the car there. I don't know, but clearly they don't have the room to park these commercial vehicles anywhere, so they just leave them on the side of the road. Geez, try that in Australia and you'd cop a big fine. picked up the bike path again. I think the next obstacle will be a couple of steep climbs. Might find somewhere to have a bite to eat before that happens, hopefully. G'day mate, how you going? Alright, this is another deviation. If you go straight ahead, apparently it's mountain goat country. So I'm going to stick to the GPX file, which I guess will take me along the road. I'm curious what this sign says, so I'll get out the old translator. Yeah, that translates to bypass road. My guess is a lot of people choose to avoid that next section. I'm no different. Another serious piece of infrastructure, this one being built. Not sure whether it's rail or road, but yeah, I am gobsmacked at the level of infrastructure here. Lots of big works going on. Somewhere through there is a very nasty climb, one that I can't avoid. The note says get ready to push your bike, and quite often around here, you'll see at the base of a hill or on top, you'll see the degree of slope and how long it is, just to give you a heads up. And you know, I found it helpful because you know how much hurt you're going to be in, or just how easy it's going to be. I'm curious as to what the grade is for this climb and how long it is. I'll know more in about 10 minutes, but looking at the terrain, I'm not looking forward to it. That's the start of it there. I've done some big climbs over the years. I've done the High Van Pass in Vietnam. I've done that twice. I think that's 500 metre elevation. I did Sun Moon Lake in Taiwan a couple of years ago. That was 800. I don't know what this one is. Can I do them? Well, yeah. Do I look forward to them? Well, no. Anyway, I guess that's what you sign up for. You've got to have some heartache and misery along the way, don't you? And you always remember one particular day on any given trip, and this will probably be that day. 13%. That sounds steep. I don't want to get off and push. The only disadvantage with this trailer is if you do have to push, you're pulling the mass, you're dragging it behind you. Whereas if you've got panniers, you're pushing the mass, if that makes any sense. So yeah, getting off and walking is my last alternative. I want to try and avoid that at all costs. G'day mate. Oh. My balls have been ground into a paste. I don't know how far it is to go. You hope that the next bend is the end of it. We can't really afford to stop. Oh. think that's the end. There's a big cutting through the rock there. That could be the crest. I hope so. Oh yeah, we've climbed. There's that bridge that's under construction. Fuck me. They've got one of those phone booths up here, which means I'm going to have to stop and get a stamp, whether I like it or not. But I'd say that this is the top. Yep. Yep. I can't feel my legs. And there it is. That's the end of the Four Rivers Cycle Trail. Thank goodness for that. And there's the last certification booth. That was great. Tough in places, but overall, thank you South Korea for putting on a terrific cycle path for schmucks like us.